times for a podcaster. If you like this show, please go to SOVCAST.tumblr.com. That's SOVCAST.tumblr.com. And look for the donate button. It's right there at the top. I'll just wait here while you go do that, okay? Hello?
Blitzkrieg by Audio Machine.
Welcome to SOVCAST. I am your host, Jeff, and I am a Sov, or Seeker of Veritas. Veritas meaning truth. We're going to get right into the news again today, because we're just still trying to play catch-up from my couple of weeks off. So first off, as usual, it's, wait, what? There's good news? And our first story. So Donald Trump might not run as a Republican. He is threatening to go third party as he voiced his displeasure of GOP leadership. This would most likely bleed votes from the Republican Party and hopefully lead to a Democratic victory. Religious people who are critical of the LGBT community and the recent U.S. Supreme Court decision on same-sex marriage are hypocrites, said Georgia pastor E. Dewey Smith. Smith, who is a pastor of the House of Hope Atlanta in Decatur, Georgia, and the House of Hope Macon, chastised his congregation and others who demonize and dehumanize homosexuals.
And God said to me, here's the problem. You guys in the church can be so hypocritical. He said, in the African-American church, you really got to be careful. I said, what do you mean? He said, because you are guilty of condemning the Supreme Court system and preaching against something. But if you look at half of our choirs, and a great number of our artists that we call abominations and we call demons, we demonize and dehumanize the same people that we use, and we don't say nothing about the gay choir director because he's good for business. As long as the choir sound good, I ain't saying nothing about his sexuality. We have done what the slave master did to us: dehumanize us, degrade us, demonize us, but then use them for our advantage.
What he's referring to are the passages in the Bible that say slavery is okay and that slaves should obey their masters even if they are violent and cruel.
It's hypocritical to talk about the Supreme Court and calling them Sodom and Gomorrah, which is not what it's all about. But if that's the case, half our churches have been Sodom and Gomorrah for 100 years. He told me, boy, you got to re-examine yourself. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, on one hand, you quote homosexuality is an abomination from Leviticus. But you say that right after you ate some shrimp, some catfish, and some lobster. You quote Leviticus while you're wearing a wool blend suit. It's also in Leviticus that you shouldn't wear mixed linens. It's in Leviticus that if your wife is on her cycle, that you shouldn't go in the same house with her or even sleep on the same bed with her. That's in Leviticus too.
You also can't eat anything with meat and cheese. No cheeseburgers, no cordon bleu, no lasagna, and no pepperoni pizza. And never forget, no ham, no bacon, no pork ribs, and no pulled pork. I shudder to think.
Here's my point. We pick and choose the scriptures that we want to use to beat folk up with, rather than look at our own lives. Let me tell you something. If God wanted to judge America, he wouldn't need the Supreme Court system. If he wanted to judge America because of sin, he would have judged me in '88 at the Freaknik in Atlanta. Y'all ain't saying nothing to me.
Freaknik was an annual spring break meeting in Atlanta, Georgia, primarily of students from historically black colleges and universities. By the sounds of it, I'm guessing Pastor Smith got his Freaknik on something fierce.
Look at your neighbor and tell your neighbor, I don't condemn you. I don't judge you. I'm going to preach Christ to you. Because you can't evangelize and antagonize at the same time. What are we going to do about the people who've been born this way? Who've been struggling with something? What about the people that we think are nasty? These folks are abomination, they're nasty. Tell you what you do then. Go find every song that's been written by a gay person for the last 100 years and don't sing it in church. Let's see how many songs you can minister on that Sunday. Bishop, don't tell me what the Bible says about homosexuals and you change wives like we change underwear. Sit yourself, your hypocritical self down.
Excellent point. The number of hypocrites in religion and the number of politicians who use religion as a hammer to victimize the people is unconscionable. Over objections from older drug war warriors, the GOP's younger generation, and even some of its elders, are working with Capitol Hill Democrats to shorten federal sentences. They also want to reduce prison populations in overcrowded federal prisons, and even to count and reconsider the thousands of federal crimes on the books. The co-sponsored legislation would reduce mandatory minimum sentences, expand judges' power to sentence defendants below mandatory minimum prison terms, the so-called safety valve, equalize the punishments for crack and powder cocaine, and reduce certain low-level felony offenses to misdemeanors. It will also require a full count of federal crime offenses and change the way criminal records are sealed or expunged to help ex-offenders and those arrested but never convicted find jobs. With the deluge of videos showing questionable, unnecessary, and downright criminal police shootings lately, I decided to play some audio of how UK police handle an aggressive knife-wielding suspect. Alright, just tell him to put the knife down.
Put down the knife.
Oh, he just sprayed him in the face. The female officer just sprayed him in the face. He's charging the male officer right now.
Put it down! Put it down!
Oh, he's just starting to stab him. The male officer is backing up while the female officer sneaks up behind him and hoses him again with pepper spray. And he has had enough.
Put it down! Get on the floor! Get on the... You're under arrest for possession of offensive weapon. Okay. Attempted wounding on ourselves.
That was him going, okay, 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 just please don't pepper spray me again. And here are two other videos from the UK showing officers handling a man armed with two knives outside Buckingham Palace in central London, and a machete-wielding suspect with less lethal options. Alright, there's a dude, he's holding the knife to his neck, and he's also, like he's threatening to kill himself if they try to come at him. He also has another knife in his hand. Here's a cop just strolling around him, and boom, shot him in the back with a taser. The guy rushes him kind of like a toddler learning to walk, and then falls, because he can't take the taser. Taser's messing with his muscles. And that's that. And this next video is like nothing I've ever seen. Alright, there's a guy. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 police officers shot a guy with a machete outside of his house. And one of the police officers is using a trash bin as a shield, one of those big rolling trash bins. That's the dude with the machete. You can hear going. Oh, one of the cops just snuck up behind him and hit him with his baton, and then retreated. He's following the police around the car. All right, I'm gonna cut to the chase, folks. 3 or 4 minutes later, 30. Some more cops show up, equaling around 30 in total now, and they have the plastic clear shields, and they rush his ass while spraying him with pepper spray and just crush him to the ground with their shields. And you see a guy kind of slip out the back with the machete. And The cop who got the machete also accidentally got sprayed in the face with pepper spray. So he's not feeling too great right now, but hey, got her done. Nobody's dead. And that's the point of these videos. You don't have to shoot people. There are other ways to handle things. And not to ignore a good cop in America, I remembered a story from a couple of months ago. Footage from a police body camera shows the moment Officer Jesse Kidder of the New Richmond Police Department refused to shoot a double murder suspect. The suspect, 27-year-old Michael Wilcox, stands accused of murdering his 25-year-old fiancée. He is also a person of interest in the death of Zach Gilkinson, 27. Kidder, a former Marine who served 2 tours in Iraq, responded to dispatch and began following Wilcox, who led police on a chase through several counties alongside the Ohio-Kentucky border. Dispatchers reportedly warned Kidder that the suspect might be armed. In the video, Kidder gets out of his vehicle with his gun pointed at Wilcox. Wilcox rushes at Kidder, who backs up. The suspect yells, "Shoot me! Shoot me!" multiple times, to which Kidder responds, "I don't want to shoot you, man." Wilcox keeps one hand in his pocket during most of the video, an offense that would get a lot of people shot by cops these days. Can't even reach for your midsection. Or your hat. Kidder later stated that he was watching that hand and did not want to use force unless he was absolutely sure it was necessary. Kidder went on to say, "I was trying to open a dialogue with him." The video shows Kidder refusing to shoot Wilcox even as he stumbles backwards and falls on his butt. Eventually he gets Wilcox on the ground and backup arrives. The video I just watched to refresh my memory about the incident ended with this statement.
Local media reports have praised Jesse for showing restraint, especially because he's been with the department for just 1 year. But might he have reacted differently if Michael had been of a different race? Leave your thoughts in the comments.
I think over 90% of officers would have shot a double murder suspect who was screaming and running at them even if the dude had a halo, blonde hair, blue eyes, and angel wings. I think this cop is just brave and well-trained from his 2 tours as a Marine. If we had a lot more well-trained, brave officers, we'd probably have a lot less dead black people. While it's true that #Black Lives Matter, it's more than just a problem of some people thinking black lives count for less. It's a matter of fear, and it's racism that influences that fear. A terrified armed person will shoot at the slightest provocation, and as dumb as it sounds, there are still a lot of people, while not necessarily hating black people, are still frightened of them. I don't know where the idea of black people being superhuman killing machines came from, but the fucking racist bullshit has got to go. Black people are just people. And like all people, a percent of a percent are dangerous, and the rest just want to go home and watch TV. If I have time, I'll post all the videos I just talked about in the YouTube video version of the podcast. Just do a channel search on YouTube for SOVCAST to find my YouTube channel, or I also post the YouTube version at facebook.com/SOVCAST, twitter.com/Seeker of Veritas, that's Seeker, the letter OVERITAS, and SOVCAST.tumblr.com. At the very least, I'll link the videos on my Tumblr page. If you like this show, please go to facebook.com/SOVCAST, sovcast.tumblr.com, or twitter.com/Seeker, the letter O Veritas.